five of us back here on the Bossman show, friend of the show, Coach Mike Jones of the Radford Highlanders out of the Big South. Coach, how you guys over there in Radford, man? You told me some snow up there today, man. How's it going so far?
Not bad, man. Can't complain, man. We just got an inch, a little inch here, first one of the season, and shoot, December 7th, we'll take that.
No doubt. Well, Coach, let's talk to you about this, man. Talk everybody how in March everything got shut down. So talk to us about how is it for you and your staff and your players, man, going from being that structured of being around campus, going in classes to having to go home and being in their own environments again, keeping their grades up. So how was that process for you and your staff, Coach?
Yeah, it's definitely, was tough on us, like it was on most people, if not everybody. Once we lost in the semifinals of our conference tournament, we let our guys go home because it was spring break. We knew we were going to be playing in the NIT, and which was the first time in school history. So we were excited about that opportunity to play. And then our guys came back. They were scheduled to come back on the day that everything shut down. So they were actually back. We were about to practice, and then all of a sudden, everything just fell apart, And so our guys went home again that day and the next day, and I never saw our seniors again. So it's unbelievable. Just thinking about that, we didn't have graduation. No more in-person classes the rest of the semester. Man, it was pretty tough on everybody. But we made it through. And here we are. Into our season, which I wasn't sure if we'd ever get to that. But by the grace of God, man, we're playing games.
Yeah, and I feel for your seniors because they want to have that one last game. We know it's your last game, take off your jersey, that one last time, and all of a sudden,
right.
losing the tournament is over and never to come back again. I know for your seniors and for you, it's that empty feeling like you can't even help and change for those young men because it was COVID ripped away from those guys. They can't have it ever again, unfortunately.
Yeah. You do get that, that last game, it's over. Whereas we were anticipating another game, and then all of a sudden it was gone. And so you didn't have a chance to say goodbye to everybody. You didn't have a chance to, cry in that locker room with your six seniors. We had six seniors. That was a big senior class for us. And so, there was never closure to that. And, I regret that. I think we'll all regret that forever. But, it's beyond our control. One thing I tell our team all the time, I try to remind them nearly every day in practice, certainly every week, is that only today is guaranteed.
Yes.
We're here for practice. This is our time to be together, and who knows what happens between today and the next practice. So let's have fun with the one that we have and make the most of it. And so that certainly came true with the spring with COVID.
And Coach, what you just said hits home for me because, I talked to Anthony Stewart 3 weeks ago before he passed away.
Oh, man.
And, I saw the news. I'm like, wow, we just had a great conversation on the show 3 weeks ago, and now he's gone. So for me, it's like, wow, he was just here, and now he's gone. I talked to him 3 weeks ago. So what you're telling your players is so true because, who would have thought? I talked to him 3 weeks ago, and now he's gone now. It's like, wow.
Yeah. As much as we think it's about our plans, it's really about God's plans, and,
yes.
There's so many examples that happen all the time throughout our lives that teach us that, but we take it for granted. We take each day for granted. We take each game for granted. We take each practice for granted, and we just can't do that. I mean, we got to enjoy what we get and, here today, gone tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. Now, Coach, academically wise, how is it for your young men going from that structure of study halls and tutoring on campus to being virtual at home? Because, when you're at home, on our class, kind of much at your own pace. You don't have that push or you get up when you want to. So how's holding them accountable first and foremost, keeping them, also getting them the help they need for the guys who didn't really like the online aspect of going to school now?
Straight up terrifying. That's what it is. It's, you just don't know what they're doing. You hope and you talk to them constantly. Fortunately for our guys, man, we've had back-to-back 3.0 semesters, which, man, for us, that's big. And so I really applaud my guys for being mature and taking care of their business, even though there isn't that normal structure that they would have being here on campus. We had in-person classes in the fall, but it was only like, for if a guy had 4 classes, maybe one of them was in person. The other was either a Zoom class or it was an online material. And to their credit, they did a really good job of taking care of business. And my coaching staff, does a great job with staying on top of them and making sure that they're, doing what they're supposed to do. And, we've got a great academic coordinator. So, I mean, we're fortunate we have people that help them stay on course.
Now, Coach, for us keeping their minds sharp mentally via the Zoom, because you guys are away from each other, right? So how do you use that Zoom to kind of keep the young men's mind sharp, so don't let the pandemic bring them down, the social unrest bring them down, and just being at home bring them down? So how do you keep their mind sharp? I know when you're home, you get a depression when things start not going the way you think they should.
Yeah, we work really hard to keep them connected. Typically in the spring, that's a time when your team gets together, maybe goes out, play a little softball together, bowling. We have official visits in where team gets together for a meal. We didn't have any of that, and so what we did was we used Zoom to try to make it happen. And when all the social unrest happened with Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, we got the group together. We did different activities on the Zoom. We asked them, to express how they felt about everything. We made them talk, which was really good. Guys like to hide on that Zoom, man. They back in court, nobody raised their hand. And so we made each guy speak up. We had different activities for them. We brought in a judge. We brought in a police officer, a lawyer, and a probation officer to talk to the team about the criminal justice system and kind of explain what was going on. We brought in a lady from the local NAACP chapter that talked about voting. We did different activities. We made them watch 13th, the documentary by Ava DuVernay, and LA 92, which was about the Rodney King. And we had discussions about that. So we tried to keep them engaged. And we also did a lot of, team culture, identity building with the group. And so we probably, man, I say we had at least 8 Zooms, usually once every couple of weeks to kind of make sure that we were connecting with those guys. And I think it helped them. And then we were fortunate enough, we got to come back for summer school at the end of June. So, it was a challenge, but it was good.
Now, how was the ramp up for your young men? Because when they was out of pocket for 3 months doing nothing, right? So how should I keep them so they don't get a nagging knee, ankle, hamstring, some soft tissue that lingers all year long?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's something that everybody's dealing with now. If there's a cancellation during the season and you have to shut down, how do you bring them back? And so if you're shut down for 14 days, it's going to take another 7 days just to kind of ramp them up to where they were before. I mean, it's unheard of for athletes to not do anything for 14 days, especially during the season. So when we got back for the summer, I was not pressed about, rushing into anything, and we're consequently probably behind where we would be in a normal year just because we didn't do as much teamwork in the summer and in the fall. But what we did was we took our time and having them do individual workouts, working their way up to getting in condition. Then we started conditioning. We had a setback because we had some COVID cases. We shut down for a little while, and then we came back, and then we started all over again with the conditioning. And so our training staff has been terrific, along with our team doctor, in terms of giving us the right protocols to get people back to playing 100% and trying to prevent injuries. And that's something that everybody's got to be aware of this year.
And losing 6 seniors, having to pretty much start over from scratch almost, trying to input offenses after time out plays, defenses. You're probably running a lot of basic stuff right there because you can't put everything in because you don't have enough time to practice, and guys being out 14 days, coming back 7. If they lose that sharpness of what you taught them previously, it went all the way in first place. So I can only imagine the chess game you're playing with yourself, trying to make sure you keep them competitive, but also trying to keep them healthy at the same time as well.
I'm trying to stay sane, man. It's been tough. We we have a completely new team. And when I say completely new, our leading scorer from last year averaged 3 points a game. So we're completely new. We put in a new offense. We put in some new elements on our defense. We didn't have the benefit of practicing for about 5 or 6 days. We did not have scrimmages this year to kind of get out there and play somebody else. So our first real test game or scrimmage against anybody was against Virginia Tech, a first game of the season. And so right now we would have had only 2 regular season games and 2 scrimmages. Instead, we've had 4 games. And, it's going to be like that. This is just the year. 2020 has made everybody realize that, what you thought was normal is not normal anymore. Here's a new normal, and you better figure it out. And the big word that we use with our team is be flexible. It's flexibility and being able to adjust and still, try to get better every day, because some teams aren't going to handle it well. Some teams are going to handle it really well, and everything in between. We want to be one of those teams that is flexible and handles everything that's thrown our way, as well as we possibly can.
Definitely. And Coach, how was recruiting via Zoom this time? Having to show kids at campus via the computer, doing virtual tours. How was that? Because I can only imagine for a guy like yourself wants to see a young man in person, meet the family in person, do it over the computer was hard for you and your staff.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a challenge for everybody. We signed 3 transfers, so 2 junior college and 1 was a Division II transfer. Actually, 2 Division II transfers, and we didn't see 2 of them play live before they came here until our first workout together. Which, for me, if anyone knows me, they know that I need to see a kid 3 times in person before I feel comfortable saying he can play or can't play, and so we weren't able to do that, just the nature of the beast. And so it's taken us a while to kind of get acclimated to what those players can do. They've had to take some time to get acclimated to who we are as coaches, how we do things, how our personalities are. And then when because of COVID, we can't get together like we used to. So we're not bonding in the off season like we normally would have. So, man, I tell you, it's been tough, but we got great guys in our program. We really have terrific kids, man. I love them. I think eventually we're going to be the best we've ever been here at Radford, which is saying something because we've had some good teams. But it's going to take time. It's going to take time for us to get to know each other, how we operate. It's going to take time for us to get to know how we play and how they fit into how we play. So, the learning curve is just a little longer now because of we have, the recruiting being the way it is. And it's just the way it is, man. We just got to flow with it.
No doubt. How cool is it to have your son on the roster? How's that been for you, man? I know you got to be so proud of him being under you and having to coach your son right there in Radford with you, man. That has to be cool.
Yeah, it's really neat, man. I got to give him all the credit because, he has to be the guy with the teammates in the locker room saying, "Daddy's boy," you know what I'm saying, and still be loyal to his teammates, but knowing that he's my son. So I would rather him be loyal to them, when we're as a team, and then when we're off the court, now we're father and son, and we trying to keep that business separate as much as possible. But he's been great. He has had a terrific attitude when it comes to me being his coach and him being on the team, and he's made it really easy for me. But it's great having him in there every day, traveling with them. We won a ring together last year. Now, the only thing left for us to do is go to the tournament together. And, he's put in a lot of work on the court, outside of practice to make that happen for himself and for our team. So I'm really proud of him.
Now, Coach, being in your conference, I think a lot of you trips are bus trips, so you don't really get on an airplane. So how does that make you feel knowing you don't really get on a plane per se? A lot of them can be bus here and there, so you protect your players and yourself from potentially getting exposed to this virus.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps that you don't expose yourself to a lot of other people. The other day on our trip to East Carolina was the first time we ever ate in a restaurant. We we're off to the side. There were other people in the restaurant, and it was uncomfortable. But when you're on the bus, everybody on the bus is testing, excuse me, 3 times, a week. And so, we feel much more confident in that situation. Whereas if you're on an airplane, you'd be exposed to, people at the baggage counter, on the airplane and so forth. And so I think that's, really a good thing that most of our trips, or actually all of our trips this year, we were supposed to go to TCU, but that game got canceled. So, all of our trips are on the bus, and I think that gives us a sense of comfort.
Now, I know non-conference schedule-wise, you have to raise money. And I see some of them contracts. They're not great. So how is that trying to keep the budget the way it should be for everybody else who's non-revenue, and also keeping you guys safe at the same time?
Yeah, no, every school I think has lost a lot of money this year, not only because, didn't have the tournament last year, and now, everybody's trying to make sure we get to the tournament this year, but those guarantee games for schools like us are very important to keep our athletic department moving. It's something that, I love being a team player and playing those games, to help benefit the athletic department as a whole. And so, in a normal year where you might get 80,000 for a game, you're only getting 40. That's a big hit, but it's something. It's kind of like a lot of small businesses around. You usually have 100% capacity. Now you're at 25. It's better than zero, and so you got to have that mentality. But we've been fortunate. A couple of our guarantee games have paid us pre-pandemic contracts, so we got the same money that we would have gotten outside of COVID. And we were just talking to other coaches. We're one of the few that has been able to do that. So, knock on wood, we can get our last one in against Vanderbilt, and then we'll be in the league, and we'll have made a little bit of money for the athletic department.
Well, Coach, I have a house in Nashville still. So I might need to come there and see you, man.
Come on up, man. Come on up.
I have a house there still.
You'll be one of 5 fans for Radford.
Yes. Yeah, I still have a house up in Nashville. I gotta come and see you guys play that day there for real. Now, Coach, the last one I got for you is, what's been a hobby for you during the pandemic? Mine's been playing the guitar. So what's been your pandemic hobby to learn since you've had a lot more time to be with you and your wife and your family?
Yeah, that's boy. We our family has been together more in the last 8 months, 9 months than we've been in the last 5 years, because our oldest son went away to college at Bucknell, and then he got his master's at VCU. So he's been home pretty much the whole time. We played a lot of games early on. We went down to Georgia over at St. Simon's and hung out down there for a part of the time, especially in April and May. But the main thing that I've been doing up until the start of the season is reading. I've always, my dad, taught me a lot about Black history when I was growing up. And so I've always had a love for Black history and the plight of Black Americans and the Black diaspora all around the world. And so I got back into reading a lot of those books this past summer, and it's been great, man. I've shared my knowledge with my family. I've shared the knowledge with the team. Our family's been reading a lot of books, man. We got this bin in our living room filled with all the books that we've read, and you look at it, man, it's like 50 books that, between all of us we've read, and we've had discussions about them, which has been great. That's really been special. And, it's tough out here, man. You got 2 Black sons who are, my youngest is about to be 20, oldest is about to be 24. And, you see how tough this world is on a young Black man. And so the time that we've had to have discussions with them and help them understand some things, I just can't replace that, man. That's been super. That's been really valuable to my wife and I. So we're very appreciative of the time we've had to do that.
Most definitely. Coach Jones, thank you for your time today. I'm going to take it on that game against Vanderbilt. I'm going to come up there and see you, man. Let me know the plans. I'll do that, brother.
I will let you know, man. I got tickets for you, man. No doubt.
Thanks so much, Coach. Hey, man, be safe, man, and enjoy that snow up there. Just don't send it out into Georgia. We don't need it, man.
Hey, boss, man. I always enjoy being with you, man. I appreciate you.
Anytime, Coach. Be good, brother.
All right, you too.
All right.